Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to go like this. Reading, writing, and radiation. When the nuclear power plant next door springs a leak, the students of Tromaville High begin mutating into psychopunk freaks. Class of Nukem High. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Worst of the Worst podcast. I am your very happy and honored host, Mr. Doug Carrion from Los Angeles, California. And today we are going to unravel the very complicated and very dense plot of Class of Nukem High. Now, I watched this thing twice. I go watch it one time, by myself, and then I watch it again. The first time I go through it, I kind of taking notes, and then the second time I'm watching, trying to figure out what's going on. And I have to say, both times I was just as baffled about what this movie really was about. I was trying to figure it out. Is the movie about the Cretans? Is it about the gang people? Is the movie about Warren and Chrissy, the two, I guess you could say prom couple or whatever, the perfect prom couple? Is that what it's about? Is it about the alien baby that was born? I don't know. It took me 2 classes and I was confused as fuck. But either way, that's what we're going to unravel today. Before we jump into the show, I do want to say thank you so much to Mike, Ryan, and Rich from Voluble Radio for having me out over the weekend. That was great. I want to say hi to Mouse and Weens. I want to say thank you so much to the British Nerd Network for supporting the show that totally kicks ass. Also, lastly, I want to say Brian Smith must be the meds. How are you, brother, in South Carolina? It is great to catch up with you. I had a great talk with you. Fan-diggity-tastic. What's the purpose of this podcast? The purpose of this podcast is real brief. I'm going to give it to you. Right now, there are so many things dividing us in the world. Yet in my space, I want to connect more with people. And here's a way where we can connect wherever you are in the world. You can watch a movie and we can talk about it. And that's absolutely fantastic. And the intention of the show, which is have a good time. Let's all connect as a community. Let's enjoy a movie together. Let's laugh about it. Now, let me introduce the first guest of episode number 1, The Worst of the Worst. It's May 21st, 2018. He's from New York. He does all different kinds of things. He's involved in the spiritual world. He's involved in the reality TV world. He's involved in the musical world. He's involved in the dad world. My friend and yours, the always fantastic Mr. Troy Weeks. Troy, what do you got?
OMG. Thank you so much for that intro. Like, I'm so used to introing anyone else. I never really get an intro. And, that was on it. You was on it with that one. Thank you for that.
So, you're very welcome. So tell me, did you see this movie?
I did see the movie. It's kind of hard to really watch movies like this for me because I'm very much like, I'll fall asleep if I get comfortable in any situation. And especially if it's not like something that keeps my interest. Man, I'm like you. I'm really lost as to what it was really all about because it has a couple of different plots and what it plays off of. So, yeah, I'm interested in to see what you guys have to point out and what you guys want to talk about with it because I had some notes that I had taken about certain things that I just like, wow, okay. Did you guys see that part? Do you remember that kind of thing?
Yeah. It's definitely a crazy one. That's cool. Did you watch it? Did you watch it just recently, or you saw it during the week, or where were you?
No, recently here at home.
Recently at the house. That's funny. Good. All right, that's a beautiful thing. We're gonna unravel it. We're gonna unravel it together.
Okay, good. I need you to help me figure this out and understand.
The second host for the absolute first Worst of the Worst podcast, May 21st, 2018. I think this lady brings the R and ratchet. I'm going to say from New Jersey, putting the R and ratchet, the always fantastic, funny Miss Coco Blue. Let's hear it for Coco. Come on now.
I love that description of me. I put the R in ratchet. That's gonna be like my tagline forevermore.
I
Thank you
put the
so
R
much,
in
Doug.
ratchet. Oh, that is so sweet.
We're gonna put her
Thanks
on New
for
Jersey
being on.
Housewives. That's gonna
Thank
be
you
a
for being on
tagline.
the podcast. Thank
Of
you for being on the podcast.
course.
It's super fun, and we're gonna have some have fun. Now, for you, Miss Courtney, did you watch this movie? Did you see Class of Nukem High?
I sure did, and I have notes for days. I'm so excited for us to dissect this piece of shit because I have so
Okay.
many points to hit on. So I am ready. I am
Well,
ready.
we are definitely gonna tear it apart. So we really don't have too big of a structure. We're just gonna kind of go through it and talk about the points, and whatever pops up in your head, we'll talk about it line by line and go that way. But all in
Teamwork,
all,
baby.
yeah, all in all, a very fun story. So the movie comes out. There's these opening credits, and the first thing that hits me is like, what's with these bizarre synthesizers? Like, did you ever see that movie, The Warriors? Remember that movie, The Warriors?
Yes,
Holy shit!
warriors, come
Yes,
out
and
and
so and
play.
and so it had like these weird like orange vocoder like keyboards like Giorgio Moroder,
Yep.
and that set the mood for me right there. I was like, holy shit, this thing's on, you know. So right out of the gate, I love that there's just, there's this very funny kind of dated music, and it's wobbly and it's coming through. But I caught on to that. Troy, did you have any thoughts on the music that was played up toward the top of the show?
It was some eerie, creepy music to me. I don't know. It just made me feel like, oh, it's gonna be a cheesy ass movie. If it sounds like this, it sound like I made that on my garage band. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's about to be lit. And then it starts out in the facility, the nuclear plant, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it must be
Right.
aliens or something about people turning them into the Hulk or some shit, because it's they start out in the plant. It's a small ass town, and everything has the same name. So of course, there's some shit about to go down there. Only in this town it happens, and it's never gonna leave. It's always gonna be in the same old town. And then, yeah.
Right. Courtney, did you catch at the top of the show when they're doing like they're inside the nuclear power plant, and they're like trying to throw all those space age sounds like it's Star Trek or something?
I'm gonna rewind back to the music part. They have their
Okay.
own fucking theme song, and I was like,
Yes.
at first I was like, oh, they put some effort into this because they got a whole theme song with the title in the movie in it, and it's great. But no, yeah, I knew as soon as I saw nuclear waste, I knew it was gonna be a fucking gym. I knew it.
Right.
But yes, I was like, it
Yeah.
is lit from here on out.
Yeah, it's officially on. So the story's rolling forward, and the first thing I notice is everybody's working in this nuclear power plant, but nobody has gloves on.
Yes.
They're all wearing these masks.
Yes.
They're like, I gotta protect my face, but their hands are just wide open.
Right.
Just
It is no
just
sign
burning.
that employees must wash hands or wear gloves or anything either.
Right. So it's just why, which I thought was pretty funny. Then the other thing that was really, was really strange was, why would anybody put a high school so close to a nuclear power plant, or vice versa? And later on in the show, one of the characters, Eddie, starts talking about the nuclear power plant being a quarter mile away, that there's nothing to worry about. But in every exterior shot, you're like, what are you talking about?
Right
That thing's like right next to it, right behind it. So
And it's
I
run
thought
by
that
Chris
was
Christie.
right.
New Jersey.
Exactly.
Wait.
Exactly.
Hold on. Let me break this down in like chronological order because
Okay.
listen, because I just want to point out how the fact that when the first kid started convulsing and shit and fell out on the floor because he drank the shit from the water fountain, I want to know how the next day and the days leading, like the days after that, people are acting like this isn't a fucking terrifying, tragic situation. They're like, did you see what happened to whatever the fuck his name is? Yeah, that
Dewey.
was gnarly or some bullshit.
did you
And then they
catch
go
what
on
the
with their day. Like, that was fucking traumatic. I was like, what are
Yeah.
these kids?
That's what they said about it was, though. They
What'd
said
you
it was
say?
a homicide. This man jumped out the window.
Oh, yeah.
His skin all from the inside out burning him. That was a homicide? That was a homicide? Wow.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
homicide.
go back. I'm gonna go backwards a little bit before Dewey jumps out the window, right? And because he was drinking drinking the foamy water or whatever from the drinking fountain.
What?
Did you notice? Did you notice how many people were making out in the hallways?
Please talk about it. I thought that was. I was going to ask you that.
Please.
And
I'm like,
was
where are the
like-
teachers? Like,
Yeah, there were
Was that
no.
like a
It was like I'm counting. I'm like, all right, there's 9, there's 10, there's like 15 people just straight
There's
up
no
making out in the
authority.
hallway.
Was that
Which
the
was
thing,
pretty-
like, to make out?
I guess so. I don't know.
Did they do that?
I guess that's maybe things are different. So the story keeps trudging along. Poor Dewey comes flying out the window. He hits the deck. That's the first pretty good special effect where he's laying on the ground. Dewey's dead, and his face melts and his eyes pop out and all that stuff.
which again is very fucking traumatic.
Doug, he falls out the window and his brain don't splatter. He just hits the ground and still shaking. There's no way you fall up a window that far and you don't he should have been instantly dead. No, he's falling out. He just he was on the ground, just like he's standing up and just fell out. Come on.
Right. No, that was pretty funny. Now, what I thought was really clever was that when they asked the plant operator, Mr. Finley, they're like, what's going on, with the power plant? We heard that it's leaking. Don't you know there's been a murder or a homicide at the school? And he tries to say that it was microwaves.
Yeah.
Right. He said that guy had 2 microwaves in his house. That's what we researched it. We looked it up and we researched it. He had 2 microwaves. That's a good one.
So
Courtney,
wait,
I don't
guys.
know.
Fast forwarding to the next day, though, and they're all in the cafeteria. I don't know if anybody noticed this real quick, though, but did you notice that it's the same kids in the background? There's a black kid dancing, another kid doing something. In every frame, it's the same 2 kids, no matter what angle of the cafeteria they're in. They use the same kids in the back of the frame. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they were a little shy on that. Well, what's beautiful about this story is that they shot things and then they reused the same footage billions of times inside the story. Like the exterior of the nuclear power plant, they must have used that shot 27 times. The exterior of the high school where there's the old station wagon.
Yeah.
They used that shot 27 times.
Fallout shelter sign in the crackers, like the Fallout shelter sign. We saw that 15 times too.
Yep. Now, so after Dewey dies, we start jumping into the first kind of character, and the first character, and the guy's name's Eddie, and Eddie's one of those guys that like every story, I don't know, teen movie or whatever, has that zany guy, and you can't tell if he's like Italian or is he a Jewish kid or what's with this guy, and he's hey guys, I'll be back for you later. He's got the goofy, what did you think of Eddie? The I don't know, is he Italian? Is he Jewish? What's your take on him?
I'm pretty sure he's Jewish, and he's like the quintessential asshole, and you have to have that for like comedic relief and like the pain in the ass.
Right.
I love him. I love his character. I love that he's like Afro-ish hair. I love his like character. Like yes. He was Trump before he became Trump. He's smacking girls' asses, doing whatever he wants, doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The I think also, did you catch like right when they introduce Eddie, then Eddie's like trying to sneak away with the girl Kathy down into the fallout shelter?
Yeah.
Did you ever have Did you have a fallout shelter at your school, Courtney?
I was like, who does this? No, because Doug, listen. In the beginning, when they were like, we have been a nuclear spill or whatever. Like they said something about like, please practice what we learned in the fucking nuclear drill or whatever, right? And I was just like, wait. Who the fuck has a nuclear drill? And then that was before I realized that they were right down the street from the fucking power plant.
I'm about to say it.
I was thinking about it.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely when Eddie's saying like, yeah, you don't have to worry about the power plant. It's a quarter mile away. It's away. And yet you're like, what are you talking about? I could throw a baseball at it. It's across the parking lot. So the story. Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Troy?
No, I saw you was breathe, and you can breathe the letter R off the word nuclear. You've got
Sure,
time.
sure. So the story keeps plodding along, and then we start to meet the Cretans. Where we're meeting
Yes.
Gonzo, who's the guy with the nose rings, right?
Yep.
Spike, who's the main, I guess, gang leader, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Right.
then, and there were at this point in the story, I've got to say, there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Okay, talk about it.
There's
Number
A
okay.
lot of
one,
weirdos. A lot of
wait, no.
Go,
weirdos.
Number
go.
one is definitely that fight sequence with that nerd guy. I have no
Yeah.
idea what that was all about. Like, all I know is that all I saw was them beating up the guy, and then she has like her vagina on his face, and is like humping his
Yes,
face, and I'm like, what is happening here? Where are the
yes.
parents? Where are the teachers?
Right.
Where is the authority
See,
in the
see,
school?
in the 80s, things were different. You could do a coochie squatch and really grab somebody hard like that. Now,
Apparently.
now we've got cameras everywhere. You can't do those things. But
Yeah.
what they were doing is they were shaking that blonde kid down for some money because he had bought some weed from them, right? And he had bought some weed from. So that was the whole reason why they were going after him. But okay, so here's what I'm trying to figure out now. And what are we, like 6 minutes into the story, and I'm already
Right.
confused. Like, what is going on?
We're
So
still confused. Right.
what I learn is, and now there's a few things, a few triangles that I'm trying to figure out. Muffy, who's the girl, not the
Yeah.
blonde girl, but the Cretans girl. At what point is she with Spike, and at what point is she with Gonzo,
Mhm.
or is she with both of them? And
She's just a
later
whore.
on and then later on in the story,
She's a
it
thought.
gets, and then later on in the story, when Muffy is in the bathroom and she's peeing standing up,
Mhm.
I start to wonder, like, whoa, maybe there's more to this story than I really
Do we
know.
know?
Maybe there's more. Whoa, things are getting interesting. Now, according to Principal Wesley, or whatever his name was, the Cretans used to be the honor roll students.
Right.
Yep.
And they
So,
started out of nowhere. They changed up.
and so what happened was they were smoking the nuclear weed before the nuclear power plant even exploded. So how is it that nobody else was all funny and crazy and zombied out and punk ganged out like that? I was trying to figure that one out. But they used to be honor roll students, and then they ended up being, what is it? They turn into the Cretans, and they're smoking their atomic weed.
Atomic high.
They're getting their atomic high. Now, that right before Gonzo rides his motorcycle into the bake sale, right before he does that, and Gonzo's the one with the nose ring. They played a song called "Run for Your Lives," and I was trying to figure out why does
It
this thing
sounds
sound
just
so.
like, no, it sounds like a hybrid between "You're the Best Around" and like "Eye of the Fucking Tiger." I was like, I can't pinpoint what this is, but I think it's like a fucking terrible parody hybrid of those two
Yeah.
types of songs.
Troy, what do you think? Are you clued into that track yet?
I didn't know. I wasn't. I was still trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I like to, with our movies nowadays, we ain't really gotta, we know a little sense of what's going on, like foreseen. Like with this, we really walking into it. I had no clue. So for me, being like a little ADD-ish, it's hard for me to really what am I supposed to be paying attention to? So much shit going on.
What am I supposed to watch? Well, I'm going to
Looking
give you
at?
some. I'm going to give you some nerdy trivia about that particular song. The Run for Your Lives song was written by a guy named Clive Burr, and Clive Burr, who you probably don't know, was the first drummer for Iron Maiden, which is like this British very popular metal band from the late 70s all the way now. They're still current. And so one of their anthemic songs is this song called Run to the Hills, which most metal people know what this track is. But this guy, the guy that wrote that song, Run for Your Lives, had written and played on this Run to the Hills track for Iron Maiden. So that was some really also the vocalist on the track is this guy named Bernie Shaw. So it was kind of like a weird metal a weird metal throwback that caught me off guard.
That
But there's
makes
some
sense.
some wonky trivia, so that's where you get. So
That's why we love
now,
you, Dave.
yeah. I'm still trying to figure out, like, is the Murphy girl, is she with Spike, or is she with Gonzo?
Gonzo.
And so at one point she's talking to Gonzo, and he's like, "Oh, I want to take Muffy out, or Muffy out on a date, blah 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 blah." And then Pete, the other cretin, says to him, "No, you got to go find Spike, because we've got to try to sell some weed to
Yep,
make
and
some
then
money."
she bugs
right?
out on him.
And then all of a sudden in the next shot, she's already sitting on Spike's bike.
Yep.
And you're like, damn, what is she? Is it possible she has superpowers? Does she have superpowers? Can she time jump? Maybe there's more to this plot than at first I thought it was a simple story. Maybe there's more to it. But it was funny where I like, holy shit, she's time jumping, and now all of a sudden she's sitting on Spike's on Spike's motorcycle.
Yeah, there's no telling where her loyalty lies. She's just a thotty at this point.
That's how fast the thoughts be moving. They be moving that fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the gang the Cretans end up going back to the nuclear power plant to meet Ronnie, because they're going to score some of the atomic weed, right? And I don't know if you caught this, but Ronnie's talking to one of the guys that works at the nuclear power plant, and he's talking to his other coworker, and he's like, look at those high school kids over there. And when you look, all of the people in the shot are all like 45 years old.
Oh my
Did you
God,
catch that?
Doug. I was thinking the whole fucking movie. I was like, these people are a hot 42. And in the fucking scene where one of the Cretans guys kisses the teacher, I'm like, bitch looks like she could be one of their fucking wives. Like, yeah. I don't fucking understand who cast this movie.
Right. It was well, we can check into it. We can check into we have the internet. We can check into that. Hold on a second.
We need to write him a letter.
Right. I think it was a lady that did the casting on this one. I think it was a lady. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Making us look bad. Anyway, so they get the atomic weed, right? And they go back kind of out to the lunchroom, and everybody's sitting in the lunch area, and Eddie's trying to talk to the girls, and again he's doing that, like, hey, let's go to a party, doing whatever he's doing. And at this point, I'm scratching my head, and I'm thinking, you know what? And this is my second pass on this, there are a couple of themes that I keep seeing where did this movie, are they like trying to bite like Animal House, only they're trying to do it with like, is it like that? Where they're doing there are so many things that had like, oh shit, I've seen that before. And I've seen that in Animal House. Oh shit, I've seen that before. I've seen that in Animal House. So that was pretty funny. So in the lunchroom, Eddie's trying to get the girls to go to the college party, blah, 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 blah. And the Cretans sell the $10 joint, which for 1986 prices, that's like, I don't know, Troy, you got to help me. That's like $60. That's like $60 a joint or something. That's which
I don't know how much it was. All I heard was $10, and I said, if they got that kind of money, they must be not high school kids.
Right. So they sell the joint to Eddie. Eddie's going to try. I guess he has this plan to try to smoke some of it, because he's going to get high with Sunshine, and then he's going to share some of it with Warren and with Chrissy. Right. So they end up going to the frat party. And the frat party, again, the opening scene reminds me of one of the party scenes in Animal House, where the keg comes flying out the chair comes flying out the window. There's a character on the front porch that looks just like the stork from Animal House. I don't know if you caught that. That was pretty funny. And I was trying to, and then so it looks like a house, right? But when you go inside, it's like a 4-level club.
That's what I wanted to know. Wait, Doug, please explain this to me, because I could have sworn that they said it was a house party, and then you go in there and it's like a fucking like 4-story building with this huge stage, a giant like industrial sized bar. I'm like, where the fuck is this place? Right, I was so confused.
Don't forget about the hookup room upstairs.
What's that?
The hookup room upstairs. that
Oh
they
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah,
upstairs,
yeah,
the
yeah.
room where
Oh
they
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
made that alien baby. Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Yep.
yep. No, it's good. That was again. There are certain undertones of sexuality which were good, and then there were some like just a little bit rapey for me, a little creepy and
Yes.
rapey, a
You
little
know what's
creepy and
funny?
rapey.
The
Uh,
first thing that I noticed at the house party, is this must be the land of like the itty bitty titties because every last fucking girl in that building had like no chest, and I was like,
right.
Come
I
on.
don't know how I
Come
feel
on.
about this.
They wouldn't have cast you
That-
in there. You would have took all the scenes away.
I
yeah,
was like, what kind of
yeah.
party is this?
I did catch that. Did you catch that Warren and Chrissy are both wearing matching bathing suits? Like
Yes.
the like blue must be the color for this. The whole theme is blue. Everybody's wearing blue, but when they take off their clothes, they're both wearing blue bathing suits.
Wait, moving
I
forward
probably
though.
would have did that back then.
I don't
I would have did that.
understand why the nuclear shit, whenever it gets into something or whatever, how come it made the nerd guy fucking spaz out and then end up on the ground all burnt, but then it makes her like horny as hell and want to like jump him? I don't understand these side effects. I'm not getting
It did.
this.
It did say that it does something to the women. And so that's what Homeboy said. That's what the creepy
Oh,
said.
I must have
Oh,
missed
watch what it
that.
does to women.
Yeah, I think he said it. It makes the girls like I don't know if he
Real
used the
horny
word
or crazy.
horny, but it was something like that.
And
So
that's why that girl can't choose between the two guys because she's a whore and she's a dottie because she got that shit
Oh,
in her body, right? See, now we tied
maybe
up loose ends.
that makes sense.
okay, there we go. We're solving the plot line. We're
See?
solving the plot line. Okay, so Chrissy go. So everybody's downstairs and they smoke the joint, right? And you
Mm.
could see there, Warren's hitting this thing, and he's hitting this thing pretty good. He's never smoked it.
Mhm.
Sunshine's like, here, let me show you how to hit this thing. She's smoking it. Chrissy, who's never smoked pot before, poor Chrissy, all she wants to do is go to a Fellini film,
Yep. A
and she gets
festival of films.
she gets Fellini festival, and she gets roped into this weed party or whatever, this 3-4 level frat party. So they're all smoking their weed and they're drinking beers and stuff like that. And she ends up, now they're getting ready to leave because she wants to go see a Fellini movie. Okay, so she goes upstairs, and then, like all movies in
she,
that
she
horror
hit the
film
bed.
genre, there's a girl with like on the bed alone. All of a sudden, it's like, there she is
It's like
alone in the
let
room
me touch
upstairs.
my body.
Right, right, right,
Like
right. So she's like, so she starts playing with herself or
for the
whatever,
record,
and
we don't do that.
yeah,
Like we don't do
with
that when we're like ready for it. We don't be touching all down our body like we're in a fucking music video. Just putting that out there.
I was
okay,
like,
that's
oh,
good.
that's some old school shit. Is that what you mean?
That's it. It's a lot of
Give me
fabric
that
and a lot
atomic
of
weed.
touching.
Yes.
A lot of fabric
Like,
and
give
a
me
lot
that
of
atomic
touching.
weed. We need to find that. We need to find that atomic weed and make it get crazy.
Right.
Maybe, maybe that's the key. I don't know. So she's laying on the bed, and Warren comes in, and he's like, Chrissy, and he's pouring himself a beer, and then he looks over, and it's like, I guess maybe every 15-year-old adolescent boy's dream comes true, where it's like the girl on the bed, and it's like, huh? And he sees her. He sees her on
Oh,
the bed, huh? And then he goes over to the bed, and she takes off her top, right? And now, I don't know. I'm definitely like, I think women are beautiful and women are
Mm.
great and all that stuff. But boy, she had some weird breasts. Was
yo,
I the
them
only one that? Was I the only
Wait,
one that caught
guys.
that?
No, you were not. I must say though, my newest line. If I want to get my husband to do anything with me, is gonna be like, "I want that joint." That was the most gangster shit she could have said. I was
That
like,
was great. That was
no, not
Rocky
that
Bad
joint.
right
That
there.
joint.
That was totally Rocky Bad. I want that joint. Yeah. So that Troy, did you catch that? Did you catch when
Yes,
Chrissy takes off her top?
and her weird
I did. Them
boobies.
nipples was ugly. I didn't know. That was
Oh
weird. Man, I don't
shit!
know. I don't know. That's all I was
Terrible.
Troy, have you ever seen a white woman naked?
I have seen a white woman naked. And his nipples they look like that.
Wait, like weren't her
Sorry, I
nipples
don't
like
know.
not pink? Like aren't white ladies' nipples pink? I mean, I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Sometimes.
No, they were like they look like nectarines. You know,
You're
nectarines be
so
little.
stupid.
I don't know.
I
We might
can't.
have to go. We might have to go to the net for that one. You know, we might have to
Yeah.
ask Siri. We might have to ask
Are
Siri what's
all
going
white
on.
women's nipples pink?
I don't know. I think with the pigment, maybe. I don't know.
I gotta
think
ask.
it's
I'm
like,
gonna ask Siri though. She'll know.
you know
That's
what?
true.
I'm gonna guess that it's probably the same color as their mouths and their lips. So if they have like really fair skin and
That would have been.
pinkish lips, then I think that's going to be the pigment for the rest certain parts.
That makes sense because Molly Ringwald has some pink ass lips, and then her titties were like bright, like hot pink. That makes sense.
There you go.
There you
go. Where if you see Spanish
Figuring it
girls,
out.
Latin girls, we're figuring it out. We're
figuring it
pulling it
out.
all together. We're pulling it all together. All right, so so then Spud and Eddie come walking up the stairs, right? Because they're trying to figure out, you know, Eddie loses his joint, you know, it gets crushed by one of the partiers, whatever. And they're walking upstairs, and Chrissy and Warren are now kind of going at it, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, they don't do anything other than like they're both just standing there kind of staring, trying to figure this out, which again was like, ooh, that's a little bit awkward
It's mad
for me.
awkward.
You know, Troy, what did you think of that?
What scene we talking about?
We're talking about when the two guys, Spud and Eddie, go walking up the stairs and they find Chrissy and Warren. Yeah.
Yeah, they did what most horny men would do. They would sit and watch for a little while.
Right.
It looked like it was painful.
They
were making these noises like like it like hurt a little bit. I mean, I'm sure it was her first time. I probably ruined a magical moment, but
let's talk about
maybe.
At one time she was pregnant for 9 months and she was only pregnant for 2 weeks.
I caught that. That was
9 months. She had a miscarriage. How you have a miscarriage?
That's what I'm saying. Where the baby at? Why nobody going to fucking jail?
Why?
It's like, what is happening? No questions.
Why Kelly in jail? No, that's fucked up.
That's funny. So did you catch when they start? You know, Warren drops her off at her house. Blah 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 blah. She goes into her house, and the movie starts to go toward this like dream sequence, and each one of them.
Sorry.
Let me talk about that.
And we're gonna talk about that for a second. Here was my first question. My first question is: did you notice that on his bedstand was a headshot from the girl?
Yeah, and I'm like,
it was not just that. It was more stuff in the whole room. She had like strands of everywhere.
Yeah. So he's having his dream sequence, right? And in his dream sequence, I couldn't figure out, did he have like an atomic boner? Is that what happened?
Yes.
Or it never told you. I thought it was going to turn around and attack him or some shit.
That left me, because he looked like he was pretty satisfied.
Right?
You know, he looked like and I couldn't figure out did Bride of Chucky sneak into his bedroom and go under the covers? Right. Did he have like...
He looked like, next time she see this dick, it's going to be on. That's what he looked
like.
Right?
Yeah. And then he wakes up and he's like, fuck.
No, that's not why. He woke up like,
right.
That shit is not real. Whatever just happened was just a dream.
Right. So now we're over at Chrissy, and Chrissy's having her dream sequence, right? And same thing, on her bedstand is a headshot of Warren, which I thought was very funny, like a publicity headshot of Warren. And now she's laying on the bed, and she's wearing this, like, I don't know, green underwear or something, whatever the hell she's wearing. And then her belly blows up really, really big, really big. And then this black worm starts coming out. Did you catch that?
Yes, absolutely. And out of her, like, belly button. And I'm like, this is this is terrifying.
It came out of his nipple, too.
Oh, yes. I don't know what the fuck that was about.
It came out of his nipple, too. I thought he was getting dressed. I thought it was changing him into a woman. I thought that was going on.
Me too.
Right. That was really creepy. That was really creepy. Like it came up from his right side or whatever. His right pec kind of blew up like that. That was really weird.
I thought that because they said, "Oh, this is what does to women." And I was like, "Oh shit, it's gonna turn into a lady."
Right. So now the next day they're back at school. And here's the part that I'm trying to figure out. Wasn't this Saturday night? Like, wasn't this like a party over the
Yes,
weekend?
right?
How come
And
they're at
all of
the
a sudden it's fucking
right?
Monday.
Right. All of a sudden it's Monday. And then like 2 seconds later, Chrissy's saying to her friends, like, did you have fun on Saturday night? So it's like, I heard 2 times that the party was on Saturday night, and yet Eddie is asking him, or Warren's telling Eddie, what was that you gave me last night? I was hungover. I was sick. That sucked.
That's true. He did say, "You're right." I caught that too. Both of those.
You caught that one? Okay, cool.
Yep,
So,
you're right.
okay, so moving forward now, we're going to get toward Spike, who's the leader of the Cretans, and Spike is now
Chicken
making
wig,
out.
right? That's chicken wig.
Yeah, he's making out with the German teacher. Did you catch that one?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
the
I was
guy.
like she's like a hot 42, and like everybody in the school is a hot
Right.
40, like 1.5. And I'm like, this doesn't even look
Right.
anywhere near awkward.
Right. So he gives her the Spike kiss, and I couldn't figure out like what did he have some kind of magical power over her?
No, she
because
just
he gave her
wanted
one
the
kiss.
D.
Okay,
No,
so then
wait. Didn't she not then go in the scene after that? There was a person in the bathroom doing the makeup, changing their hair. Wasn't it her?
Yeah, that was her.
Teacher,
all
right?
of a sudden, she became. All of a sudden, I think that like that might be the horniest town in America.
It has to be.
And maybe like it's in the water or something. And all of a sudden, the German teacher goes for, go there, and then all of a sudden she's in the bathroom having sex with Spike, and they're getting it on.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. Moving, then all of a sudden, now it snaps to another shot, and Warren is now back at his house. Did you catch that? He's at his house, and he's stumbling around.
He's stressing.
And all of right because he's sick. He's really poor guy's really sick.
They're both
he had the
sick.
he had the atomic high. He puffed the atomic high.
That Ebola high. He had Ebola.
And all of the radios and all of the lamps and everything are like flickering and shit as he's walking around.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Mom was home though. He said, "Mom was home. Do your homework. Make sure you eat whatever she said." He goes by the radios. Everything turns off. If he hits the ground, his mom goes looking for him, check on him. Nothing.
Right.
All
Yeah,
the parents and authority are like useless in this town, so that didn't even surprise me.
You don't even see the parents. That's never existed. They were the students in school too.
Right. I know that was pretty wacky. Okay, so moving forward, so now Spike and Pete are the two guys that are gonna like fake that they're having a seizure so they could beat up the old lady for her purse.
Yep.
Did you catch that?
Okay, wait. Can I say something? Alka-Seltzer tabs don't fucking dissolve that quick for you to pop it in your mouth and then all of a sudden it's gonna start bubbling up. Like that shit happened in seconds. I was like, this is totally unrealistic.
Remember those products was old back then.
Maybe. Right. I don't fucking know. Why are we rationalizing this, Troy?
Right. I don't know.
They beat her up. That was crazy. Like,
oh my God, they beat the shit out of that lady.
Yeah, that was serious. That was a serious smackdown. Like one dude's grabbed the white purse and the other dude's like, hold on a second, smack. Hold on a second, smack. Getting in his lumps. Keep in mind, what kind of a person after the purse is stolen continues to beat up the victim?
Right.
One guy stole the purse and sachets away. And the other guy went fucking WWF on this old lady. That's
right. He's going MMA on the whole thing. So now we have the standoff in the alley, right? And Pete has now met up with Beethoven, and in comes Warren, and Warren is now having a little bit of a episode because the radiation weed is making him freak out. And so he comes down the alley and he's going to confront Pete, and he's foaming at the mouth and his ears are dripping green ooze and all that stuff. And they start fighting and they start fighting. Now, keep in mind, Spike is still beating up the old lady from the purse they stole 10 minutes before, so he's nowhere around. And I thought that what was cool about this scene was, you know, in horror films they try different things, and this was the time where they had like the Warren sticks his hand all the way down Pete's throat. Did you catch that one?
Oh, that's on my notes. The hand down the throat.
Yep.
Wow. Tell me about that, Troy. What did you think about that?
I was just like, wait, this is the 1980s. The technology allowed them to do this? Because I'm like, how are you doing this right now? And second of all, what was the point of it? I thought it was going to put off the throat and eat it or something. Like, why you stuck the hand down there? Like, just to say, look like I didn't understand.
Right. That's funny. So yeah, so he, you know, so they're fighting. Boom, Beethoven gets smacked. Pete's down, and then Spike comes into the scene. Spike and Warren fight. Boom, 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 and then it doesn't really, it never really shows you what happens. Like, does Warren, like the next scene, Warren's in his bedroom. Exactly. And he's woken up and he's like, oh shit, I'm back or whatever. So now is it like a Jekyll and Hyde thing? Have we gone into that spot, like Jekyll and Hyde?
I didn't even think deep into that. That's actually a good point that you brought up, because it's like the evil and like the normal, his normal self. So that's actually a really good way to look at it.
Right. So, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. So they're done fighting, and now everybody's back at the junkyard, and Spike's reflecting on the fight, right? And then they have the Mohawk girl with the Hitler mustache, right? Yep. And then the German teacher, she's bailed from the school. She's not teaching anymore. She just wants to hang out with the cretins. Yep. So she's hanging out at the junkyard in her baby suit or whatever it is that she's doing, which I thought was pretty funny. Then they go toward, you know, now we're back at the school and we're having the pep rally. And one of the things that was, all the girls are practicing their pep rally moves. But did you notice that there's no bras to be found? Like every girl is in a tank top with no bra.
Pointy as fuck. Yeah, I know.
And that creepy old lady saying, "Scream, do it louder." Yeah.
Right. And the only one that has a bra is Chrissy, but we've already seen what she looks like.
So there's no point.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, what are you talking about?
There's nothing to be desired.
Right. So, you know, so they're doing their pep rallies, and then all of a sudden Chrissy feels like she's sick, so she goes into the bathroom and her belly blows up again, right? And she's thinking she's going to have a baby, and she's not going to have a baby, and she's going to have a baby, and then not have a baby.
She was pushing it in.
I don't know. Is that what happened? And then when she was pushing it,
trying to push it, like, no, this ain't happening. I'm not pregnant. No. And then it came out of her mouth.
And then it came out of her mouth. Radiation, worm radiation baby comes flying out. Whoa! Hits the toilet, lands,
screaming like a real baby.
Right, screaming like a real baby. Screaming like a real baby. She jumps out. Okay, she's done. And then they take her away to the hospital. I don't know if you caught over the loudspeaker the paging Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine. Did anybody catch that? Okay. Yeah. Reference and a nod to the Three Stooges, which was great. I love that.
That was actually pretty dope.
That was actually pretty funny. Mrs. Murphy, who's Chrissy's mom, comes in, is telling the doctor, "Oh my God, there's a fight behind. You see the two guys fighting with the urine sample, and one guy gets whacked with the urine sample. Yep. Did you catch that?
Yes.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Then, you know, Warren comes into the hospital, blah, 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 blah. Then it's back to the high school, and the high school, now there's another girl that goes into the bathroom, and this time she sees the radioactive worm baby inside the bathroom, and she flushes the toilet. She screams, it's scary. She flushes the toilet, right? Mm-hmm. And then the worm baby goes down the drain and ends up, first it flies out of the sink. Did you catch when it was in the cafeteria and it came out of the sink?
Right.
Any thoughts on that?
Everywhere. Throwing plates everywhere like The Exorcist or some shit.
Right. Which was pretty funny.
I don't get how it was such a long time between when she threw up or whatever, the fucking worm baby, to she's all the way at the hospital. Then somebody finally flushes the shit. Like, that's a very long fucking time for that thing to be swarming around in the toilet stool. Like, I don't know if anybody else caught that, but that was a very long time.
Yeah, but remember when the second girl comes in, it's already climbing out.
Yes.
So
But I was
maybe,
gonna say, if you notice, he was trying to get out, so he was probably like trying to climb out for a while and couldn't get out.
True.
Right. That's pretty funny. So, that's really good. So, so we're kind of scooching. Story keeps going. They walk into the health class and they grab the big laser, laser machine, and Eddie's holding it like a dick, and he's like, "I can't wait to point this in Judy's direction," or whatever he's saying with the big laser dick.
Right.
You're like, oh, okay, strange. Now here comes the next scene where Muffy is peeing standing up.
Yes.
Now,
yeah, in the back.
Courtney, I'm going to let you take this one. Why don't you try to break this down for us? What is going on? What's happening?
I just feel like I just feel like they're these weird mutated fucking their orgy fest. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. She might have a dick. I don't know if I don't know. I think they're just like these new beings that were just created from the nuclear bullshit that they've been smoking. I have no idea. All I know is that she's a freak and she's crazy, and I don't know. For all I know, she may be a she-male, but whatever. It doesn't matter because nothing in this movie mattered. So it didn't.
Right.
I didn't stress about it.
What do you guys talking about? My phone tripped for a second. What are you talking about?
We're talking about Muffy peeing standing up.
Oh yes.
And we're just trying to wrap our heads around that one. You know,
maybe she was the first enough. Like maybe she had both of them. That's why she was a hoe. She couldn't get enough.
Maybe. Did you catch right after Spike comes in and Muffy and Spike are making out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Gonzo starts jacking off with the funnel. Did you see that? Troy,
like, what the fuck is happening here?
Troy, did you see that?
I must have missed that one part. Damn, now I feel
dude.
Like
well, you were getting 40 winks during that time. Is that when you dozed off?
Oh God!
So
wait, go ahead, listen.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. So the story keeps going down the line. Finally, Warren and Spike are fighting in the bathroom, and there's these very peculiar shots where it's like. The Muffy girl's there, then she's not in the bathroom, then she's there, then she's not in the bathroom. Some really bizarre continuity. Finally, all the cretins get taken out of the bathroom, and they're all kind of brought toward Mr. Wesley's the principal's office, right? Yeah. And so one of the teachers is frisking all the girls.
Yeah. Oh my God, I saw that. Up on their asses. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And inside Muffy's pants, they pulled out like all these used condoms.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That was nice.
Yeah.
And Spike and Gonzo are both laughing at the same time, which leads me to believe that they both know that each one of them are hitting the girl.
Yes, of course.
Right. Okay. Cool. Just making sure that that's all. We're all good to go.
That's been already determined.
Okay. Good. So I'm still trying to figure out the storyline. I think I know what's going on, and then I realize that the cretins are mad because they're not selling enough weed, right, and they realize that Warren is the reason why they get kicked out of school. Exactly. So now it's revenge on Warren.
And it just becomes a whole cretin movie after that. A whole cretin shit show until the end.
Right.
Kids terrorize the whole school though.
Right. So they leave for a little bit and then they come back. And now their plan is they're going to try to lure Chrissy into the basement, into the fallout basement, right? And then they're going to try to lure Warren into the basement and try to, I guess, kill them both, right? Yep. But here's what starts to get really creepy. the Taru girl, the girl with the red hair that
Yep.
brings her in there, starts kissing Chrissy and stuff like that. And that's where I was like, wow, this is getting kind of rapey and kind of creepy.
Right.
You know, the whole thing went from like, this is kind of funny to all of a sudden they're talking about like sawing off her nipples and shit. Did you catch that?
Sounds like my
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was-
party. Let's just be
That was-
honest.
Right. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. So they have the girl downstairs and now because the worm baby had fallen into the big vat of the nuclear reactor sludge, the worm baby now has become very big. And so in comes the monster, and the monster now is I guess you could say one of the main players in the plot line. and so
Right,
now
definitely.
the monster is picking off the Cretans one at a time, you know, and the first one's Pete and
Yep.
or actually the first one was do you remember I'm calling him Rocky Horror Picture Show guy?
Oh,
It was the
him.
guy
Yep.
the guy with the boobs and the black
Yep.
lipstick. So he gets whacked first, and then Pete gets whacked, right? And then Gonzo comes in, and Gonzo sees Rocky Horror Picture Show is down, and he starts half
Rocky
howling and
Horror
half crying, like,
Picture Show's
right? Okay. And then Gonzo, nose ring guy, he gets choked out by the baby, by baby nuclear, whatever it is, nuclear sludge baby worm,
Yep.
the monster. He gets choked out. So he's down. So people are dropping like flies. Pete and Muffy are still alive, and they're racing through the halls of the motorcycle, or on a motorcycle, racing through the halls with spray paint and stuff, and they're spraying, and they accidentally spray the monster. And then when they stop, they're like, what is this? They stop, and then they both get killed by the monster, which I thought was pretty funny. Pete gets his head ripped off, and Muffy gets all the way through, like the monster comes from the back of her head all the way through to her eyes, which I thought was pretty cool as an effect.
That was
Story
cool.
Yeah, that was a pretty good effect. Story keeps rolling forward. Muffy's dead. Pete's dead. Spud's dead. Rocky Horror Picture Show guy's dead. He's out of the way. The story keeps moving forward, and then now Warren and Chrissy and Spike and the monster all end up in the health classroom, right? And Warren and Chrissy escape, and Spike gets snatched by his ball sack, because he has one of those bondage ball sack things,
Right.
and he gets grabbed by that thing, and that takes him out, and he ends up dying too. Chrissy and Warren escape outside, and the school explodes.
Yep.
Okay, so now the school explodes, and the kids are happy because the kids
Right.
are like, "Yay! There's no school tomorrow." Right? The kids are like, "Yay! There's no school tomorrow." And then, and then the bulldozers are going through the wreckage. They're going through the wreckage. And of course, baby worm monster nuclear pops out, and they do the scary cha 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 delay.
Yep.
And then they roll the credits for Trauma for Traumaville, Class of Nukem High. There you go. That's the story.
It ends with a bang.
Holy smokes! That was incredible.
Yep.
That was an incredible story, I gotta say.
It was.
Yeah.
It definitely was.
I did see a couple of reviews that came to mind, which I thought were funny.
Okay.
By the way, if anybody wants to send us a review of a show, we'll
Please
announce
do.
what show we're going to be doing for next week, but you can send it to us and we'll try to read the reviews over the show, which is fun. But Tuna on Toast said, and this is an IMDb review, he said, some decent practical effects save for this 1-star rating. 85-minute movie should not feel this long or drag on this badly.
Exactly.
2 stars from Tuna on Toast, which was pretty funny. And
I
then
agree.
my favorite review was from Richard S., and he writes, Taru, the hottie at the end with the pink hair and face paint.
Yep.
Jesus, holy mackerel. That's what I'm talking about. Giving it the 5 stars.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so it was, it had some mixed reaction out there, but it was pretty good. What I did learn trivia wise, sometimes there's some goofs and some trivias on this one. The Tarua girl, the Taru girl, the girl at the bondage girl at the end, she originally had a bigger part, but she had gotten in a car accident before.
Oh, wow.
And so she was unable to do a lot of the shooting. So they ended up giving most of her lines to the Muffy girl. So originally, it was originally written, the Muffy part was a lot smaller, but due to just shit happening, she ended up getting a bigger part, which was, which is a little bit of, nerdy trivia for you. So Troy, I'm going to ask you first, who was your favorite character, or what was your favorite death scene, kill scene, special effect?
Okay. I would say my favorite character, again, goes to Eddie, because he's the most memorable to me. Like, I would love to have seen him in more movies, just because he was just a normal, like, Jewish kid. We said Jewish. That's what we said, right? Correct? Jewish kid.
Yeah, we're going
right.
with Jewish.
His personality was just vibrant for me. Somebody that I could relate to, and somebody I would like to see in the movies, do other, but would love to watch him grow as an actor, just because he just, he touched me like that in the little party he had. I felt it. And then since you want to talk about the special effects scene, I like the opening scene, because how you went opening to songs, intros, albums, all kind of stuff is important. So the opening to me, how it happens when the guy drinks from the water and falls out the window, and I told you he falls out the window, but he's not like dead. He just starts shaking like as if he just hit the ground, and then he just melts away in front of all these people, and they act like it just didn't happen, and they thought it was a homicide. Like, he melted, like
right,
melted like the queen. Like, if threw water on her, she melted, and they thought it was a homicide. Like, it was melting.
That was pretty sick. All right, what about you, Cortney? What do you think? Who's your favorite character, and what was your favorite either kill scene or special effect?
Okay. I think my favorite character was Gonzo. That's the one with the thing through his nose, right? Him.
Yep.
Yeah, I liked him because he was like the quintessential black sheep, or like troublemaking, weird, scary guy in high school. I'm telling you, there were several bone through the nose people in my high school, so I was able to relate to
right.
his.
Can you do that weird little thing that he was doing
right?
when he's riding the bike?
It's just, I just thought it was colorful. I just thought it was cool because it was just like trying to be as quintessential and authentic yet as campy as possible, and I think they succeeded. I really like that character. My favorite scene in general, I think all the deaths for me were pretty horrible, but I like the scene when they were beating up the old lady, only because you very seldomly see an old lady get like the shit beat out of her, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Great.
They did not hold back.
That's great. That's great. I think I'm gonna go with the monster. I think my favorite character was the monster. That ends up taking.
That says a lot about the actors, Doug.
Yeah, my favorite was the. Can you believe they made 4 of these?
I know. I saw.
4?
Yes.
They made.
I thought it was 3.
Yeah. So we are nowhere toward the end, but that's that my friends out there in podcast land, that is the class of Nuke High.
Yes.
A freaking super funny comedy, horror, strange sci-fi thing from 1986. I'm going to start closing the show out here. It was a ton of fun. Troy, I'm going to go to you first. Do you have anything you want to hype or pitch or tell people what you're up to this week or in the not too distant future?
Yes. So if you guys have been tuning into any of our other shows, you guys know that I've been hosting. I had a once in a lifetime chance to just host a show with my band at Harlem Nights in February. Now we're still working months later. So if you're in New York, New Jersey area, doing June and July, it's going to be a couple of open mic. I'm going to be doing that with my band on Fridays, and not every Friday, but most Fridays, and at the Harlem Nights, as well as I'm going to be hosting a party called Stay Woke, which will be our 4th year doing it. I've been doing it for 3 years. It's an open mic backyard private party, jam session kind of party, and I'm doing it for 4 years, so it's coming out. And last but not least, for all of those people like creatives out there who have social media, especially Instagram, there's a new company that has a product out called Link in Your Bio. And if you go to Troy Weeks Music, my Instagram, you'll see it. If you click that link in my bio, now what they do is they allow you to be able to have one link that puts all your stuff together. You know, some people have a website and a website does it, but it's not as easy. You got to go looking for it and finding out this and that. They have one website, one link. You click it, and right now, if you click the link in my bio, there's 10 social media websites, all kind of stuff come up for me. All you do is click it. And not only do they have that, they even break it down and tell you what people are clicking. Oh, they're watching this. They're going to your Instagram. They're going to your YouTube. So it even helps you. So check it out. If you have any questions, then you can always hit me up. Go to my Instagram, check it out. And that's my for this week got going on.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Miss Cortney, what about you? Anything you want to plug, hype going on in your life this week?
Real quick, I want to tell everybody, please tune in to the Wednesday show. I'm actually going to take over Doug's job, and I have a little bit of politics to kind of talk about. New Jersey is actually thinking about allowing legal prostitution, and I kind of want to talk about it and have people weigh in. So please, please, please listen on Wednesday. I'm going to tackle politics. I don't normally, but I need you guys to be here for support.
I'll be there. There. That sounds great. It's a great story. Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, you know what, Cortney and Troy, I think it's time for us to reveal the next movie. Do you want to know what we're going to watch next? Are you ready?
Yes, I do.
Are you sure? Okay, I'm going to my movie voice. Get ready.
Ready.
A teenage vigilante. Here it goes. A teenage vigilante seeks revenge on a group of violent thugs who raped her handicapped sister and killed her best friend. Savage Streets, starring Linda Blair, John Vernon, and Robert Dreyer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. For next week, we're going to watch Savage Streets. We'll make sure we can. I know it's on Amazon Prime. If those of you are Amazon Prime people, you can find it. Savage Streets is going to be, which, again, the Savage thing, it's funny, it's great.
Yeah.
So watch that. That's the goal for next week. And so we're going to see you next Monday. And we're going to be talking about Savage Streets. We haven't worked out the bugs on who's going to be co-hosting, but hopefully we'll get one of the other guys from the Savage Media Radio to do it. We'll see where Carlos is, or Brandon, or both. We'll figure that out. Anyway, winding things down, I want to say thanks to Cortney for putting things together. That's super cool. Savage Media Radio. That's a beautiful thing. If you're If you want to find Worst of the Worst, you could check us out. There's a community page on Facebook, so it's like Worst of the Worst podcast. You could do that. You can also find the Savage Media Radio community page is another way to connect with us on Facebook. Yeah. Or if you're a Twitter and Instagram person, you can find at podcast WOTW for both platforms. That's how you can track me down directly. Or, of course, you can always reach out to savageonair@gmail.com or podcastwotw@gmail. Either one of those get to us. Yeah. And if you want to rate or review or comment on the show, head over to Spreaker. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. You can find the show on the Spreaker platform, and you can also find it on the iHeartRadio platform. Yeah. And we very much look forward to catching you on the next show. Thank you so much for tuning in for episode number 1 of The Worst.
Hello, you guys.